Ecotourism sites, Mole National Park, Kakum National Park. Have you ever been to the center of the world? Then imagine a place far from home where you are still seen as family. A peaceful country filled with affable people, decorated with stunning landscapes, world-class beaches and rainforest, also having rare wildlife in abundance. This is Ghana. Ghana is among the top tourist destinations in sub-Saharan Africa, gradually becoming the end-of-year convergence point for tourists around the world. The country mesmerizes visitors from all walks of life, with some of the world's most historic forts, delectable cuisine, and unique festivals from its diverse cultures. Indeed, there is no dull moment when you visit Ghana. The country's ecotourism offering has seen expansion in recent years as some of its main ecotourism sites, Mole National Park, Kakum National Park, Wabim Firma Monkey Sanctuary, continue to garner tourist attention. Ghana achieved significant progress in developing ecotourism tourists at some of its main nature reserves. After introducing the highly successful Year of Return campaign in 2018, Ghana cemented its place as a top travel and investment destination for Africans in the diaspora. Tourist locations all over the country are steadily being improved to meet international standards as government now mandates sites to acquire specific licenses and certification in order to operate.
In thinking about Britannia or establishing a UK hospital in Ghana, there were three main ideas that we considered or we focused on. One is to provide a courteous and positive environment for clients so that clients' needs, both emotionally and physically, are met. Secondly, we felt it was necessary to bring together a team of professionals that really deliver what the client wants. And then finally, we felt that it's important to focus on quality above every other consideration. We don't use junior doctors in this hospital. Every person here is of middle expertise or very senior expertise so that the quality is assured. I'd worked in the UK and in the Middle East for 25 years, but I'd always had a vision to come back home one day and deliver some care at home. Now, as an obstetrician looking after pregnant women in Manchester, we hardly lose a lady during the course of pregnancy or delivery. But while I was in Ghana, I noticed that that is quite a commoner occurrence. So I knew that somehow some of the things I've learned back in the West, I need to bring it back home. So Britannia actually started in 2020, January. That's when we basically open our doors to clients. We're still in the growth phase. Thankfully, we're starting to get noticed, and we're starting to get a lot of corporate clients coming to talk to us. We provide specialty services in pediatrics, obstetrics, internal medicine, general surgery, urology. We're just about to start dental and eye services. We do quite a few surgeries here. I myself am a gynecologist, so we do quite a bit of gynecological surgery. Our main objective is really to set up a teaching hospital, a respectable teaching hospital here in Ghana that is of Western standard. Currently, we're a 33-bed capacity establishment. The plan really is to build a 4-story ward in the next few years, a surgical block, an IVF and cancer service, doctors' flats and nurses' flats. Currently, we employ about 20 staff, That is just our full-time staff. We have about a similar number that are doing part-time nurses and midwives that come and help us, and also some doctors as well. The thing that makes people come here all the time is our focus on client services. We are here to wow the client. And the other thing that we focus on a lot is quality. I knew that with the government digital agenda, it's going to open up the digital space and allow businesses that run with technology to flourish. And I thought that that was the opportunity that I needed. So Ginger is basically a section of the service that we do where in a situation where a patient is unable to come into the building or have a relative who he wants us to see but cannot come in physically, they make requests on an online platform and we go home to deliver it. And it takes all kinds of forms. Somebody may be sort of, in a corporate office, not feeling very well and doesn't really have the time to come out. We will go out to deliver the service to them either at home or in the office.
Currently, we have about 50 doctors. We have about 35 in Accra, 15 in Kumasi, and then a few in Takrady. Now, we have a team of nurses, and then a team of pharmacists, and then a team of laboratory medical scientists as well. So there's a team that handles the Ginger request that comes.
So we have clients from the US who have parents at home that ask us to go and look after their parents at home. We have folks that live in Accra and have their parents in Koforidua, in Kumasi, that again will ask us to go and see their parents at home, and we send nurses and doctors, sometimes specialists, to go and visit them at home. That really provides convenience for people so that they can focus on their productive work that they are doing, and it generally just engenders better access and convenience for the Ghanaian citizen.
When a request comes, we process it at the call center. We get to the client, take details, and based on the special request that comes, we make arrangements for services to be provided. It's basically general consultation, specialist consultations, physiotherapy, medication delivery, laboratory requests, COVID test, traveling test, and then general medical checkup.
Once we are fully registered with GIPC, if we need to bring in equipment and other working tools for the hospital, we do get exemptions. So the registration process is something that is important to us, and we are keen to complete it to benefit from these exemptions that GIPC provide. We're going to bring in quite a few experts to provide different kinds of technical care. And for that, again, we know that GIPC also provides some assistance. So after being out of the country for 25 years, practicing medicine, I'm back in the country, and we've set up Britannia Medical Center to grow and provide care in Ghana. Our plan is to grow in Ghana and to grow with Ghana.
So Niche Cocoa is a cocoa processing facility. We process cocoa into 4 semi-finished products: cocoa liquor, cocoa cake, cocoa powder, cocoa butter. And we have the finished products, which is the chocolate. So for the semi-finished products, I would say that Niche is fully grown for the processing 90,000 metric tons of beans, which is equivalent to about 10% of Ghana's cocoa. So we are fully grown. For the finished products part, we are currently just doing the chocolate, but by the end of second quarter, we are hoping to roll out other products onto the market, being the chocolate spread, the RTDs, the ready to drink, and also the 3-in-1 cocoa powder. For a plant that was established with a staff strength of about 60 to its current staff strength of 600, I mean, over the time we've grown, we've created employment. That is direct labor. For indirect labor, we have over 1,000 people also. So in total, you're talking about 1,600 direct and indirect labor.
At Niche Cocoa, we employed over 600 workforce, and we are wholly Ghanaian employees here. And our workers mostly comes from the environment of Tema and Ashiama.
I mean, we also bring a lot of foreign exchange to the economy with a processing facility that is exporting almost 90% of its produce. We are one of the key foreign exchange earners for the country.
Niche Cocoa, having employed over 600 workforce, it means it has a lot of impact on the Ghanaian economy, having a lot of families depending on this 600 workforce.
Niche Cocoa is a facility that is built in Ghana, producing cocoa. So Niche Cocoa, our competitive advantage is that we are having raw material from Ghana, producing major raw material and also exporting. So our competitive advantage in international markets is an origin country. Niche Cocoa being a free zone company, whereby we are exempted from taxes and duties for our equipment and other facilities, that gives us the opportunity to also expand. Now with our relationship with GIPC, which is the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, whereby we are opened up into the international market. You have investors who are looking for our produce, and through the GIPC, we are contacted and we are also able to enter emerging markets. To us, it has been an advantage, and we have been able to enter markets that we didn't assume we could. Markets like the Western world, the European market, and the Asian market, which are major consumers of our semi-finished products. We are hoping to use the relationship also to sell consumer products to the African market with the AFCT coming up. With the business-friendly environment provided by GIPC and also with the free zone concept, Niche Cocoa has grown from an 8,000 metric ton facility to a 90,000 metric ton facility. That has even pushed us into the Ghana Club 100, whereby we've won 3 awards consecutively. And to us, that's a big achievement. Government have been able to provide such an industrial enclave, and that has been one key factor. Power is available 99% of the time. That makes doing business very, very comfortable for us. And also our proximity to the port is just about 15 minutes drive, producing one product and sending it to the port for export. Niche Cocoa Industries Limited is an attestation of doing business in Ghana. The business environment in Ghana is at its best time, and we are calling on other investment to make Ghana as the industrial hub and entering the African markets and also the world market when it comes to export of very good produce. So let's grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
In transforming the economy and transforming the industries in this country, one of the key components is the raw material base. So you need to make sure that if you are going to any district, you would have to find out from the promoter that you're going to put this industry in this place. What raw materials are you going to use? And if you're going to use this raw material, how sustainable is it going to be over the period? And that is why this government and this bank has made poultry as one of the key, but our number one focus area. In doing that, we are creating jobs. So we have to make sure that we finance Ghanaians who will be able to help us to solve this problem.
I am made in Ghana. I believe in made in Ghana.
Almost every drug was coming from either Germany or India. So if we can help make them more modern with the state-of-the-art technology. In 2020, they were supposed to become GMP compliant. That's General Manufacturing Practice, and EU compliant. And that is why this bank decided to invest $60 million, a whopping 301 million Ghana cedis, into the pharmaceutical industry in 3 years. But now that we've been able to do almost about 190 one district, one factory, with other banks in total now making about 232 one district, one factory, it is envisaged that Exim Bank would be able now to move into the bigger areas.
I am made in Ghana. I believe in made in Ghana.
Cosmos is an exploration and production company. Cosmos came into the country in 2004 and discovered oil in 2007. And we had our first production in 2010. So we take pride in the fact that we put Ghana on the map as far as oil and gas is concerned. Well, doing business in Ghana is very easy because they create a good environment for you to come in to do that. So for what we have done, if you were to ask that question as what is, it is like in terms of doing business in Ghana, I would say it's quite good.
While globally it is multinational across 47 commodities in the agri sector, in Ghana we have been doing cocoa, cashew, rice, we have been into processed tomato, biscuits and flour milling. So Ghana has been a very pleasant and a positive experience for all the businesses we have done. Over the years we have made massive investment in the country. Today we have invested over $150 million in the country, over 4 manufacturing facilities and various supply chain businesses. And our experience has been positive all around. Very smooth country to operate in, very smooth country to bring investments into. A country which has a massive talent pool that we have been able to tap into, which has allowed us to have very localized management structure. And overall it has been a very smooth country to operate in, an easy country to do business in.
Golden Exotics and Golden Organics Limited in Ghana are 100% owned subsidiaries of a company fruitière based in Marseille, France. The location of Ghana is good for banana producers. It's the closest place you can grow bananas to Europe, West Africa, and for organic bananas, it is the closest place to grow bananas. It has an abundant labour force and good access to the ports in Tema, for which we have one boat every week going to Europe. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there. If you look in 2004, Ghana was growing almost no bananas for export. Now we grow nearly 100,000 tons of bananas. We could do the same again, and other industries can do the same. The opportunities are there if you look for them. The company's developed massively in the last 15 years, which just shows a level of success. We went from 800 employees, now we have nearly 3,000 employees. We've gone from a few hundred hectares, now we have 1,700 hectares planted. To give you an example, the farm is now 12 kilometers long and almost 2 kilometers wide. That's a large farm by anyone's standing. The thing that I think most excites us is the development of the organic farm. 5 years ago it didn't exist at all, and now at 600 hectares it's one of the largest in the world. Not just in Africa but the world. I think that's a great news for Ghana.
I will recommend Ghana as an investment destination in Africa because for us, having been here for 14 years and by our own experience, we think Ghana as a people are very hospitable. Ghana is politically very stable and we have loads of opportunities in Ghana. We have huge opportunity in the oil and gas industry. We have huge opportunities in the gold industry, where Ghana traditionally is known for, and we have huge opportunities for the cocoa industry, and a lot of other opportunities for non-traditional exports. So I will strongly recommend foreign investments in Ghana. Ghana for 2019 is projected to grow at about 7.6%, which is higher than anywhere else in Africa. In fact, most African countries probably growing at 3, 4, 2.5. Most European countries are 2, 3. We are having a growth of 7.6%. That growth is opportunity itself for people who want to think about coming to Ghana. So now is the time.
We love living in Ghana. We think Ghanaian people are one of the nicest people in the world. The safety of the country is really encouraging. Work has got its ups and downs, but we still quite enjoy what we do. Business flourishes, and we're very happy being here, and we don't regret investing in Ghana whatsoever.
When I look at the technology or ICT industry, it is one that is growing at 20% year-on-year, closing 2018. Forecasted to also grow 20% this year. This is not growth that you see in a lot of the other markets. I think beyond that, when I look at the social aspects around safety, security, a lot of investments have come into Airtel Tigo, which our shareholders are confident to have in this country because of the safety and security of the assets. The Ghanaian fintech industry is one that shows a lot of promise. Closing last year, from a market penetration perspective, we were at about 50% of the entire market, which shows the level of appetite that exists within our consumer market. I think a lot of opportunities exist today. A lot of the use cases around the Ghanaian fintech market are around sending and receiving money, cashing out at the point of receipt, but a whole lot of use cases still exist around merchant payments, bill payments, international remittances. So it's one of those industries that should be one to watch in years to come.
Telecommunications companies in Africa, most of them are in Ghana actually. The top 3 are in Ghana, making this market very attractive but also very competitive. For us, I think our mission continues to be how to bring connectivity to the masses, and this continues to be the one thing that we seek to enable in the country. So our investment strategy is geared towards that, to ensure that we can drive the digital change and the digital revolution, which is also aligned to the goals of the government and where consumers want to go. We've seen significant interest from consumers today, the types of services, the types of activities, particularly from the youth. And our goal is really to enable and drive digital revolution within the country using telecommunications.
So the FMCG business in Ghana, I think, is a great business. It's a great opportunity because today people are coming, a lot of companies are coming, traders are coming with FMCGs, opportunities and product as well. It means that competition is becoming a little bit high and difficult. That is positioning us and telling us that we have to fight more because it's a good business in Ghana.
So Guinness Ghana Breweries PLC is the only total beverage company in Ghana. We're currently listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange and a subsidiary of Diageo, which is the global brand that we belong to. Diageo is listed on the London and New York Stock Exchange. So Guinness Ghana, since establishing its business in Ghana for over 59 years now, has always positioned itself as a manufacturer and an employer first, and a beverage company second. Now, within the beverage company space, we have been able to source our raw materials, our local raw materials, for over 55% of all the products that we use within our production lines are sourced locally. What this means is that we're impacting over 25,000 farmers who are getting us crops to use for our productions, and this has an exponential effect of touching over 170,000 livelihoods across, and this is something that we're quite proud of as an operations in Ghana.
Yeah, we're an international shipping line. We've got 235 ships. We've got a floating capacity of about 1.7 million TEU and over 2.5 million containers or TEUs. Okay, I think the main thing from our side since we started, which was in February last year, we've managed to increase our imports by over 50%. And I think this is very much related to us being on the ground here, so it's been a very positive experience. I think I would definitely recommend Ghana as a good investment opportunity in West Africa. The new terminal opening here for the container side is going to be a real game changer, and just it's going to be really modern facilities. If I had to give advice to anybody who's going to be investing in Ghana, I think the first thing to do would be to get in touch with the GIPC.
So please allow us to welcome you to this event, and I will let my husband say a few words.
I am the sidekick here, but I'll be brief. I first arrived in Finland in 1981. I'm an architect by training, that's my wife, but my passion since 1981 has been Ghana-Finnish relationships and cooperation. So much so that even when I lived in America, in Los Angeles, between for 20-something years. I even came to Finland to get expertise and encouragement to found the Architecture and Design Museum in Los Angeles, of which I'm a co-founder. So my Finland-Ghana cooperation, I've always thought it's a natural fit, and I'm still doing it, and seeing an event like this gives me such great joy that decades of my imagination has finally, we are somewhere with this, and could see Madam Ambassador and dignitaries and private sector from Ghana here is such heartwarming. So my boss said I should keep it short. So on that note, she's going to take over again. Welcome, everyone. Thank you.
So we will start this morning's program with a welcome address by Her Excellency, Mrs. Jennifer Laye. Please, let's welcome her.
Good morning. Under Secretary of State for International Trade of Finland, Deputy Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, economic management, as well as creating a business-friendly environment. This is clear evidence to the fact that investors have great confidence in the economy of Ghana. To achieve the vision of making Ghana the most preferred investment destination in West Africa, the government is continuously creating an enabling environment in which investors can feel secure to partner with the private sector, which is considered as the propeller and the engine of economic growth in Ghana. It is on the basis of these and many other opportunities that GIPC, the agency responsible for attracting investments into Ghana, is here with us, together with other ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as some private sector businesses, to explore ways of partnering with their Finnish counterparts, to discuss possible ways of collaborating to attract investments into various sectors of the Ghanaian economy. The business delegation is also here to explore the possibility of finding suitable markets for their products
Thank you. Next, we're going to welcome the Undersecretary of State for External Economic Relations from the Ministry for Foreign Affairs of Finland, Mrs. Nina Vaskunlahti. Let's welcome her.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And welcome to the first Ghana-Finland Business Forum. When I was looking at the text, I mentioned to the Deputy Minister, it's like Ghana-Finland. I mean, yes, and Finland. So, but now it's Finland. Happy to have you all here. A very, very warm welcome to Deputy Minister Sarpong and his delegation, to Ambassador Lahti. All the protocols, I learned one can say this, all the protocols, ladies and gentlemen, everybody observed. 35 years of diplomatic relations between Finland and Ghana since 1997. We have come a long way in 35 years, a long way to go. Ghana has been and will be an excellent partner for Finland in Africa. We very much appreciate Ghana's role in multilateral fora, such as the United Nations or the WTO, where we share very many same principles. We also appreciate a lot the staunch role Ghana has taken in implementing the African continental free trade area. Finland is a firm believer in free trade, and so is Ghana, and other important principles that we share. Ambassador Lahti already mentioned the amount of business cooperation that is going on between Ghana and Finland. There are ample opportunities, be it in circular economy, be it in digitalization, be it in education, be it in energy and mining sectors. All prominent sectors, all sectors where there is interest in Ghana, and sectors where there is expertise and interest in Finland to offer. And I have understood there are already good discussions on the way. And this business forum today will offer you opportunities to business talks with But we, as a famous saying goes, we have to walk the talk. And now it's the time to walk the talk, to make this strategy a worthwhile instrument and to implement it in the world, which is rather challenging at the moment, to put it mildly. I see some old acquaintances in the audience, and they know what I will say next. I will say that the role of the government maybe is not so much to make business, but to contribute to enabling environment for business to make business. It's our role to to draft and approve legislation that makes the business environment more predictable and more opportune for making business. This is our role, and this is where we'll do our best. Here in Finland, you know, and I know you will do your best in Ghana to make it easy for our businesses to get together and to make the most out of it and bring prosperity not only to people in Ghana and Finland, but it's in the higher horizon as well. So thank you very much for being here this morning. Make the most out of the today's event, and let's look for new opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your speech. And I've been asked to give you the Wi-Fi password, which is Scandic Easy. And then also you've received this brochure. If you do the QR code at the back, you will actually find a lot more information about the companies that are on the delegation, as well as the government entities. So please take a moment, in between to take a look at that website. And then let's move along in the program. Next, I would like to invite the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of Ghana, Honorable Kweku Ampratum Sarpong.
You got a new spot on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me thank the person who introduced me for getting my name spot on. First time in Finland. We always struggle to mention the Ampratum. So when Undersecretary Nina was speaking, he had to say Sako. Otherwise, it would have been a bit of a mouthful. Honorable Herbert Kampa, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Undersecretary Nina, Ambassador Jennifer Latte, CEO Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Deputy CEO Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Chairman of Boards, other CEOs, Deputy CEOs, members of the Ghanaian delegation, our business friends from Finland, members of the Ghanaian and Finland Business and Finnpartnership, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to be leading this trade and investment mission to Finland. And I bring you greetings from my minister, Honorable Shirley Ayoko-Boche, who should have led this delegation, but unfortunately had other important duties at the United Nations. I wish to acknowledge the efforts of the leaders and experts of both delegations for taking this initiative to strengthen our bilateral relations and the welfare of the people through promotion of bilateral and economic diplomacy between our two countries. For me, ever since I went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, economic diplomacy has been my interest. Because economic diplomacy brings business. Business brings money, and money puts food on the table. That's the bottom line for me. So that is where normally my interest is, not to sit in the tea rooms and be talking on politics and all whatever. What puts food on the table is what is important. And we have met here for business, for investment, for trade. Bottom line, we want to make money and to be able to put food on the table for ourselves, for our family, and for the rest of humanity. Captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, due to the lingering effects of COVID-19 and the ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis, by the way, the government wants to again reiterate to the government of Finland that we stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and the noise and the threats that the Russians are making against you. And we condemn totally the attack on the territorial integrity of Ukraine. being perpetuated by Russia. So be assured, Ghana is with you, Finland. The world is currently in a supply chain disruption, rising inflation and food costs, and as well as interest rate hikes, which highlights the critical need for strategic collaborations and to find innovative solutions to these global challenges. As a result, it's my sincere hope that this event will usher in a new strategic economic partnership between our two countries' communities for mutual benefit. Ladies and gentlemen, I report Ghana's long-standing relations with Finland, which dates back to 1957 and 1977, when diplomatic ties were formed between the two countries, both based on common values and interests. It is my expectation that the trade between the two nations will be strengthened by the end of the trade mission. It is important for me to state that the government all over the world have a responsibility to improve the lot of the government. And the government of Ghana believes that the surest way to ensure an overall improvement in the lives of the government is to promote trade and investment interventions that will improve the quality of life for our citizens through foreign direct investment. It is the government's firm conviction that promoting economic trade between our two countries is the foundation to promoting businesses for sustainable development between our two countries. This is the reason why His Excellency the President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, is completely committed to the promotion of economic diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana considers Finland to be an important economic partner, and we hope to take advantage of our warm bilateral relations to expand the cooperation in this area. Ghana holds a lot of unexplored potential for Finnish companies, and as host of the Secretariat of AFCTA, Ghana has become the center of trade and investment in Africa. Foreign direct investment from the Finnish companies in Ghana, notably Finnico Solutions, which creates an eco-friendly solution in the sanitation sector, and Greenstream, a clean technology company in the energy sector, are doing very well. And we hope to take advantage of our warm bilateral relations to further expand our cooperation into other areas. There is the need to bring economic prosperity and better the lives of all citizens by identifying ways of reversing environmental degradation through actions such as alternatives to solid waste management and value addition to the regular utilization of forest resources. I wish to underscore that Ghana has developed a national green job strategy with the aim of ensuring effective coordination of green job initiatives through intersectoral linkages. As you may recall, Ghana and Finland signed an MOU on the sidelines of the 2022 Nordic African Foreign Ministers meeting held in Helsinki. Finland, to discuss the need to collaborate on a wide range of areas, including circular economy, sustainable development, peace and security issues, climate issues, education, especially TVET, and health, among others. The signing of this MOU was timely and will provide framework for our two countries to engage in a transparent dialogue and interaction and move relationship between our countries forward in the spirit of friendship and cooperation. Related to the above, it is my hope that the signing of the MOU will reinforce the implementation of Finland's National African Strategy, which aims to identify shared interests and strengthen connections in different sectors between Finland and African countries, including Ghana, into success. Captains of industry, ladies and gentlemen, let me assure you that the government of Ghana has structured initiatives for industrial transformation and the creation of business and environment and investment opportunities. The government is committed to creating a resilient, diversified, and a dynamic economy, which will generate jobs and facilitate the building of a middle-income country through the creation of wealth and prosperity for both investors and the people of Ghana. Currently, the government of Ghana, through its Ministry of Trade, is implementing a 10-point industrialization agenda to build productive capacity of both domestic and export markets. They include the national
revitalization program, the One District, One Factory initiative, strategic anchor industries, One Region, One Park policy to establish industrial park and special economic zones across the country, small and medium scale enterprises and entrepreneurial development, the National ESP program, enhancing domestic retail infrastructure, business regulatory reforms, industrial subcontracting ST, and improving private public sector dialogue. My colleague, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Trade and the CEO of Ghana Export Promotion Authority, in due course, will speak in detail on these particular initiatives and matters. The One District, One Factory initiative seeks to contribute significantly to transform the transformation of Ghana's economy from Nigerian raw material extractor to an export of value-added products. Today, we have 150 factories operating in different parts of Ghana under this program, with many more under construction. Taking this into consideration, I strongly encourage both parties to make the most of this meeting by actively participating in the B2Gs and the B2Bs that have been specifically scheduled to meet your needs and provide the greatest possible mutual benefit for you and your Ghanaian counterparts. Also, the importance of timely follow-ups and frequent engagements is critical for achieving long-term success, and therefore I'm confident that the officials of the relevant agencies will be eager to assist in this regard. But before I conclude, I want to assure our Finnish counterparts that we don't have a resident ambassador. She is based in Oslo, looking after affairs over here. But I assure you that by the end of the year, we would have appointed an honorary consul in Oslo to take affairs. That is a commitment, Madam Ambassador, hold me to it. Lastly, I wish to conclude by expressing my sincere appreciation for your participation in this business engagement. And it is my hope that at the end of the event, new deals would have been signed, networks will be built to further strengthen our relations for the brighter future. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Minister. Next up, we will hear from the Trade Commissioner for Finland in West Africa of Business Finland, Mr. Olu Rahim.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Deputy Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be here this morning, and I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces. I've had the opportunity to follow Ghana-Finland relations for about a decade now, and I'm happy to say that there has been a lot of improvement, especially when it comes to trade relations. Most relationships, as this relationship also has had its ups and downs, but like I said, all in all, we definitely see improvement, and we see a lot of opportunities and still things to do. Like I said, my name is Olu Rahim. I'm the Trade Commissioner for Business Finland in West Africa. I'm located in Lagos, Nigeria, but also I'm responsible for Ghana. And by now, sometimes I consider myself honorary Ghanaian. I think I look Ghanaian. Maybe my mom has something to confess, I don't know. But it's a lovely place to visit. And what I usually tell people, believe in is see. So you need to visit Ghana to see the hospitality, see the kind nature of people, and see the business opportunities for yourself. We're here today to learn more, to establish connections, and really putting emphasis also to the B2B that is happening later today. So please, let's make best of this opportunity, and hopefully we're here today, and the next time hopefully we'll also see each other in Ghana. Yesterday was, how would I say, a conclusion of a landmark agreement in a way. We finally were able to sign a public partnership with facility investment between Ghana and Finland, which has been in works, and also we see that that would generate more opportunities for Finnish companies and investors to do business and interaction with Ghana. I wouldn't take much of your time. Honorable Deputy Minister said it all, and in Finland we try to keep to time, so I'm going to keep mine short. And once again, I would like to welcome you all to this event. Thank you for the organizers. This is long overdue. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you, Polu, for keeping the time so short. We'll hear from you later in the B2Bs, I'm sure. Next, we will hear from some Finns that have been doing business in Ghana. And firstly, we invite the CEO and co-founder of Accents Health Limited, Mr. Timo Teimonen, to tell us about his experiences in Ghana.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and I can relate to Nina's word about Finland. But since we are the happiest nation in the world, so why should we be a Finland as well? So, dear Honorable Deputy Ministers, Nina Laskulahti, and Mrs. Lacey, the new ambassador, it's really great to be here and with you in this event. A few words about our company first. So we are a Finnish biotech company, high-tech company in very, very high-tech means in the area of biosciences. What we have developed a method how we can detect more changes in the human biological samples, namely saliva and urine. So we use so-called biosensors to detect different kind of diseases. In Finland, we are focusing on urinary tract, meaning kidney, prostate, and bladder cancer. The other area that we have put a lot of focus is actually on saliva. We have done saliva research in India. We have the opportunity to meet Nina as well. And then a few years ago, 2 years ago actually, with the help of Finnpartnership and Finnfund, we came to the conclusion that Ghana would be an excellent place. We tested other places in Africa as well, and then we ended up to Ghana, found to Noguchi, and started a project on detecting lethal infectious diseases from saliva. In our terms, it means first of all malaria, secondly tuberculosis, and then thirdly cholera. The novelty of our system lies in the fact that we can detect diseases based on the color reaction in our system, which means that we can use handsets, and we know the handsets in Finland in and out and mobile networks. So with that solution, we are not only detecting, but we can also manage different kind of epidemics, and especially epidemics where there's a kind of a regular outbreaks. So we can see how it evolves by the time in every year when there's a malaria season, for example. And this is something that we are now doing a preclinical and clinical study with the Noguchi in Ghana. Then walk the talk. So I think we have been walking, not talking too much. So this is a picture of last winter when we trained 3 talents from the University of Ghana to our system. One of those is sitting somewhere here, Elizabeth. It's now been altogether 20 weeks here in Finland for training, and now going back to Ghana and hopefully joining us more permanently next year. We started the work almost 2 years ago, and with a very specific protocols how you collect in cold chain fresh saliva from the rural areas of Ghana, transfer those to deep fries, transport those to Finland. We analyzed, we did first test, we convinced Dr. Linda Amah, Noguchi, yes, and the system works. We went there back first time roughly a year ago, published first results, then we extended our collaboration, and now we are just about to launch our first joint scientific publication on this area. So less than 2 years, we have now managed to from the cold call, 28th of December, we have managed to come to a point that we have actually 2,500 saliva samples waiting for us there in Ghana. From 500 patients, 5 consecutive samples taken in 1 week interval, which means that we have the opportunity to see if we can see how the malaria develops in the human body. Potentially, we can see the asymptomatic versions of malaria. So very, very unique set of samples, and thanks to high quality work that we have experienced with the Noguchi people. In order to be successful there, you of course need more than just researchers. You need good business partners, you need networks, you have to be in the pulse of the society. We have met malaria control program people, we have met Ghana standardization, we have met Ghana FDA people, we have also met the head of the public health in Ghana. So we have kind of updated quite frequently our activities there. And what we are really surprised is actually, because we are in the business of doing quality work, so we are really, really surprised on the quality. And we are doing a lot of work with the different institutes in Finland, in India, now starting in China, and now with 2 years working with Ghana. That has been really high quality work by the Noguchi and other people there as well. Doing business is straightforward. I think it's nicely correlates the way how we are working in Finland. So kind of a straightforward things are on the table, and let's solve and let's move on. So our expectations for the future, I think it's pretty much the building the bridge in between Finland and then Ghana. So we are taking first one person here, Linda Amah is there, Dr. Linda Amah, and our team is there as well. But then using the Ghana as a beachhead to look at the West Africa at minimum, and then continuing the research work and commercializing work in there. So this is the quick summary what we are doing, and then hopefully we can have a more detailed discussion when we have a networking side. Thank you.
Thank you, Timo. Next, we will hear a second testimonial about doing business in Ghana from the head of Meteorological Infrastructure and Capability Development by Sala Oy, Mr. Vesa Koivula.
Good morning. Honorable Deputy Ministers, Undersecretary Nina Vaskulahti, Ambassador Mrs. Jennifer Lati, and CEOs and deputy CEOs of government institutions, and distinguished guests. My name is Vesa Koivula. I'm head of metallurgical infrastructure and capability development and responsible for large metallurgical projects Vaisala delivers to metallurgical institutes globally. Vaisala is world-leading weather measurement systems manufacturer, and we deliver our services and products to over 150 countries on average every year, including Ghana. We have a very good cooperation with Ghana, and but first shortly about Vaisala. We are over 2,000 people. We have 25 offices in 16 countries. Our net sales last year was 437 million euros, and one special thing I want to mention is that we invest and put 30% of our net sales every year to research and development. That's very important thing to keep us in the market leader position. To Ghana, we have delivered metallurgical systems to the airports. One example is Accra International Airport. We have equipped, and we have also delivered systems during past years to Tamale, Kumasi, and Sunyani. And then we have delivered one ship and weather radar to Accra, and about 20 automatic weather stations around Ghana. Vaisala business is divided into two business areas: weather and environment, and industrial measurements. Industrial measurements main market is demanding humidity and carbon dioxide measurements, liquid concentration measurements, continuous monitoring systems, and then power transformer condition monitoring, for example. Everything that happens in-house, in the equipment or in the process, in the industry. And then I would call traditional part of Vaisala is weather and environment. And our main customer groups are meteorology, aviation. Aviation safety, by the way, is one of the hot topics also in Ghana. And then we are in defense business as well. Renewable energy is, of course, very important. And then one of the new areas is smart city development. Our products can be found all over the world in most challenging conditions, from the heat of Sahara to freezing Antarctic, for example. And I want to mention one example. We are even at planet Mars. We have delivered to NASA's Mars rovers. They are equipped with Vaisala humidity and pressure sensors. So we are market leaders on two planets. Shortly about the value chain. This is metallurgical value chain. I want to show this picture because I want to explain shortly what's the linkage between weather and socio-economic value. According to WMO, every dollar invested in metallurgical service and research brings $10 back in socio-economic benefits. There's lots of investigation and science done over this area. And this example in here, what I'm showing, is kind of, I would call it old school public-private partnership. Vaisala, together with Finnish Metallurgical Institute, can deliver a solution with accurate observations and reliable forecasting, and then that enables Ghana, the target country, to effectively disseminate meteorological products, the information to all stakeholders who are weather dependent, and then that enables also fast decision making. And most important here is that, and maybe the number one finding in Ghana is that you need to build the trust with all stakeholders. You need to find a good partner, and then that enables you to make things happen there. That's very basic thing, of course, everywhere, but this is what we have managed to do in Ghana, and we look forward to good business in there in the future. We are very keen on doing business in Ghana. Feel free to contact me. I'm available today and happy to serve you. And then many of you are coming to Vaisala tomorrow. You are most welcome to see our site and factory in Vantaa. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vesa. At this junction, I would like to invite the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Kweku Ampramton Sarpong, to make a presentation.
We're just presenting to the undersecretary, so to her, you call her to come here.
If at this time I could also invite the Undersecretary of State.
Very nice.
Nina, I make this presentation on behalf of the government and the people of Ghana for the wonderful work you have been doing on the front of Finland-Ghana cooperation. Within a short time that I've gotten to know you, I've done some background work. And I'm well informed that there's a lot that you have been doing behind the scenes to try to make this program come on, and also to make sure that the relationship between Ghana and Finland moves to a different level altogether. And we are hopeful and trustful that things are going to work out. And after today, there's going to be a lot of business relationship built. And there will be huge advancement. And by the time I make my third visit to Finland, there will be a lot to talk about. So thank you very much.
Deputy Minister Ampramton Sarpong. I got it right. Thank you very much for this. I'm truly honored.
This is the icing on the cake.
Right. Heavy business in here. And this is not only for me, but this is all for my colleagues who have been putting hard work into this visit. And thank you for that. And we only had great testimonies today in the morning session. I wonder what will come up next.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Our Finnish partners. Thank you to everybody else who has made it possible, particularly members of the Ghanaian private sector who have traveled to join us here this morning. It is indeed a pleasure for GIPC to be a part of this special maiden business forum here in Finland. And it is a special personal privilege for me to address this business forum that allows all of us to speak openly about the opportunities in Ghana and how collectively we can broaden our appeal as the premier destination for foreign direct investment in the continent. Now, before we proceed, let me crave your indulgence. For those of us who don't know the country Ghana, I would plead that you give me a few spare minutes to go a little bit more deep dive into who we are as a people, as an economy, and the real prospects for investment in the continent. I know that our Finnish partners are quite time conscious, but please permit me. But before we set out the Ghana story, we have to provide the context currently confronting the global economy. The forum is especially timely because there are several global headwinds facing not just Ghana, the rest of the continent and yourselves here. This is amplified by greater protectionism. It has created a number of distortions to global supply and value chains. And these have enormous ramifications for countries like Ghana. And although the world is rebounding sluggishly, we are seeing global foreign direct investment flows recovering to pre-pandemic levels. The World Investment Report 2022 say that in 2021, there was 1.6 trillion worth of foreign direct investment globally, and we expect this to grow tepidly this year. And just when we were recovering from the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world is now confronted by a precarious geopolitical future exacerbated by conflict here in your region, as well as tensions in Asia, the cost of living crisis, inflationary pressures, the 3 Fs, as we call them, food pressures, fuel, and finances, as well as heightened indebtedness in many parts of the globe. It is also public knowledge that Ghana and the government of Ghana has begun discussions with the International Monetary Fund to secure financial support. And we, as a government, are confident that we will negotiate a good and lasting deal, which will hopefully reverse the near-term risks into opportunities and allow Ghana to regain market access to international capital markets. And I should also note that over the last 6 years, Ghana has grown averagely around 7%, which shows the resilience of the economy. But unfortunately, being part of the global economy, we were not exempted from the devastating impact of the pandemic. And I should also add that there is global energy volatility here in Europe, and there is a pragmatism by European leaders in hastening efforts and recalibrating policy towards energy security and independence. And we in Ghana are not totally exempted from these global headwinds. So essentially, our discussions here this morning really is to justify why we are here and to ensure that we build the trade and investment partnerships and linkages with economies like yours. And yesterday, I think I speak for the rest of the delegation, that we found it incredibly insightful, and the prospects that we discussed with our Finnish partners in terms of nearshoring and ensuring that Ghana can be an extension of Finnish industrial and economic policy is something that we take very seriously. We see Finland as an exciting export market for our non-traditional exports. We see partnerships in ICT, sustainable finance, healthcare, linkages in the circular economy. And I'm pleased to see a few Finnish companies here today. So essentially, I want us to look at this conversation through what we call the three O's: opportunity, openness, and optimism, which I believe will underpin our future relationship. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, the optimism is justified, and we can view the conversation along the lines of peril, which is currently dominating global discourse, or promise. And I think that we should all look at the brighter side. So why Ghana? We are a politically stable country, dependent on the indices that you look at globally. Ghana ranks in the upper percentile in the African context. We are a safe and peaceful people. Recently, we were ranked the second most peaceful country in Africa and have done so consistently over the last decade. And I dare say that we are a happier people than even our Finnish friends. I dare say, advisedly. We have strong constitutional democratic culture, which is underpinned by the separation of powers between the executive, parliament, and judiciary. Freedom of expression. In Ghana, everybody says what is on their mind and in their hearts. I see people nodding to that. We are consensus-driven people, and we also have a vibrant and plural media landscape. We apply the rule of law in a robust and fair manner. We practice common law, and the judicial system ensures for companies the safeguards and certainty for company interests as well as individual interests. In disagreements, as they do often arise in business, our legal system is fair, robust, and not punitive. It is also accessible for mediation and other types of legal remedies. And of course, Ghana is also signatory to international conventions and protocols that offer companies other avenues for dispute resolution if they see fit. And this is one of the cornerstones of the Ghana story. In the volatile West Africa region, and you may have heard a lot of doomsday stories and analyses in our part of the world, Ghana offers a beacon of hope and a credible, predictable, tested investment destination over the last decade and before. So right now in Ghana, the headline political risk in other parts of the world is rife, internal strife, war, and conflict. But today in Ghana, the headline political risk is no longer any of such negatives. It is about predictability, stability, and a policy environment that is cohesive, strong, consistent, supported by the personnel that you see here from the government side, but also our private sector. And because of our openness to doing business, we accept some of the challenges, and we work with our stable institutions to be able to propel the country forward. Ghana is also accessible. If you look at the map, we are well positioned. And my chief executive likes to say that Ghana is indeed the center of the world. And I think the map attests to that. Geographically, we are well positioned, as you can see. We have excellent proximity to and connectivity to global markets. We are just a stone's throw from the Middle East and North African region. Europe is approximately 4.5 hours away, direct flight to Gibraltar and Portugal. We have connections to the Indian subcontinent and Asia. Of course, Africa is in our backyard. We have extensive political and economic relations with the Western Hemisphere countries, and recently have hastened efforts at deepening relationships with the Caribbean so that we connect with our kith and kin. In terms of connectivity, our world-class Kotoka International Airport in the capital city of Accra recently judged the best airport in Africa in the 2 to 5 million passenger category is a testament. And when you come to Ghana, you will support what I'm saying. There is also great aviation expansion within our market. The Kumasi and Tamale airports are almost 90% complete, and it gives me great satisfaction to know that a Finnish company is providing some of the solutions to ensuring that we have the aviation connectivity in our part of the world. There are also extensive discussions ongoing between the Ghana Airports Company Limited and regional carriers like Askai, TAG of Angola, and hopefully, and fingers crossed, a possible re-entry of Namibia Airways to really justify the connectivity under the AFCFTA, which the Honorable Deputy Minister of Trade will speak extensively on later in the forum. The Tamale Airport is incredibly important. The Tamale is in the northern part of the country, and Kumasi is in the middle part of the country. And if you look at how sparsely separated these airports are, there is wisdom behind it. The Kumasi Airport hopefully should serve the regional market, and we're hoping that Tamale will go to the Middle East and North Africa, and potentially also serve direct routes into Latin America, Brazil, and so on. And Tamale is of international standard. It has 3.4 kilometers runway and is long enough to accommodate the larger planes, your Boeing 747s and your Airbuses, etc. And we are also actively and proactively working with the Ghana Airports Authority to bring an MRO opportunity to Ghana, MRO maintenance, repairs, and operations. Currently, in West Africa, we are lagging behind in that space, and we're hoping that partners, possibly from here in Europe, will come in to meet that opportunity. In terms of our ports and logistics, Tema is one of the most resourceful and connected ports, feeding the landlocked countries within ECOWAS. There's also the Takoradi port, which government want to position as a logistics, oil and gas, and allied industrial port, and essentially also declutter the overly congested Tema port. So there are some exciting opportunities in that space. These access points, aviation and ports, and some of the conversations that we had yesterday around smart ports and smart technologies being applied, mean that there are great opportunities for Finnish companies to come to Ghana, speak to GIPC and other relevant authorities to see how we can nurture and bring these opportunities to life. There's also an intensive railway development currently happening in our country, which is very exciting. There are 3 railway projects, which hopefully, when complete, should add 1,300 kilometers to the transportation network, and this is excellent for freight to the landlocked countries. And again, it is augmented within the AFCFTA conversation. The country also presents a competitive and educated labor force. I believe that anywhere you go in the world, you see Ghanaians operate at the highest level, be it at the UN, investment banking, or for that matter, anywhere else. Recently, we were in Barbados, and it struck me that a Ghanaian was their deputy governor of their central bank, and I found that incredible. Now that is a testament of the human capital of the country. We have ready and available and trainable labor. We have a young and vibrant population. Recently, in our census, about 35% of so-called quote-unquote youth constitute the population, so the ages of 15 to 35, who have higher, who exceed the African average for literacy and numeracy, hovering around the 77 to 78% region. Which means that anytime you come to Ghana and you're looking for trainable and skilled labor, you have a pool of talent that you can select. And I'm also happy to see that there are some Ghanaians here who are undergoing training with Finnish companies. But we're also focused on STEM. And I know that Finland is particularly interested in this area, having a world-class education system, which we want to replicate. STEM and technical vocational education is primary objective for the government. And it is reflective of the changing requirements of education and a symptom of the future of work. We want to position Ghana and Ghana's education system to meet the demands of the future of work. And there are STEM centers commissioned across the length and breadth of the country. And I believe that one is planned for each of the 16 regions of the country. Just a quick snapshot on the economy. GDP, 77.4 billion, second largest economy in West Africa, and the 8th largest in Africa. Real GDP recorded a strong growth of about 5.4% in 2020 after the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Q1 this year, 3.3% expansion of the economy despite all the challenges. And the economy is dominated by three key sectors: agriculture, industry, and services. For the consumer companies that are here, and for the tech companies, we also have a growing middle class. So household incomes are increasing. So current data that we have is 2.3% of people in Ghana are quote unquote middle class. And we expect this number to increase to about 3.1 million by 2025. And Ghana is also one of the investment bright spots. Over the past decade, we have interchanged from number 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the ease of doing business and foreign direct investments within the sub-region. And also an accolade that we are particularly proud of as GIPC is that we host the Secretariat for the World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies. The headquarters of that in Africa is in Ghana. And we believe that it is a testament because of our practices, our policies, and an endorsement of the systems that we employ to attract and retain foreign direct investment, which means that there's a competitive and compelling business case that is currently happening in Ghana, and we invite Finnish companies to come and sit with us to discuss these prospects. But for the business people that are here, we also offer a good return on equity, depending on the reports that you read. The average value for equity returns in Ghana over the last 15 years was 34%. If you look at that, if you compare that with the global average over the same period, measuring 125 countries and the returns on equity, the global average was paltry 9.84%. So Ghana means returns on debt, on mezzanine financing, on equity, and this is the real prospect for your investment and the risks that you take to come into our market. And I should also say that through some of the policies put in place by government is not a discriminatory or a punitive agent against foreign direct investment. It is not our policy to be hostile to capital or investment. But we also advise, and this is a caution to businesses who may want to enter Ghana, that you do so through the remit of the law. And we encourage you to come to GIPC, the agency responsible for attracting and retaining foreign direct investment, as well as regulating the investment space, so that you understand what the opportunities are, and you also have certain safeguards under the law. And that's very important. Aside from the market prospects that I've spoken about, we also have vast natural resources. So depending on the year or the output, we are either the number 1 or number 2 gold producing country in Africa. Currently, South Africa is number 1, but we will take our place back very soon. We're also the 2nd largest cocoa producer in the world, 3rd largest bauxite reserves in Africa, with approximately 180 million metric tons. We have substantial gas reserves, natural gas reserves, and some good prospects for oil. We have new and exciting lithium prospects that will power the industries of the future, particularly the EV industry that you have here in Finland. We have manganese in the millions, diamonds, iron ore deposits, arable land, etc. And for those in the tourism and agri space, we have cultivable land. Thousands of hectares are available in Ghana. GIPC has a land bank, and we can direct you to certain opportunities and also help you to de-risk your financing when you come into the market. It is no secret that there are some issues when it comes to land tenure in Ghana, and government, in its wisdom, is accelerating reforms in that space. For those in the tourism sector, there was approximately 350 miles of pristine shoreline. And so for those of you here during the winter, you want to come to Ghana to enjoy the sun and sea, you have 350 miles of pristine shoreline. And these are all critical for investment attraction. But I think three things underpin what we're doing within the economic space. Firstly, is this the diversification of the economy through industrial policy, and the Honorable Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs made mention of that. There's the One District, One Factory, which is a flagship government policy to industrialize certain districts sparsely populated across the length and breadth of the country, so that we have a balanced growth into the future and will bring jobs closer to the ordinary person. We're also building the knowledge economy through flagship initiatives such as the Free Senior High School policy, which will have enormous ramifications for the future of work and how we position ourselves within the next decade. And the IMF recently said that the free SHS policy is, quote, a transformational policy and one of the most creative in Africa. And I think that is a major endorsement for that policy and for His Excellency's vision. And the ICT and communication space that we have spoken a lot about, there are policies being put in place to attract hard and soft infrastructure, which will help Ghana to leapfrog into the fourth industrial revolution. And we are also learning from our Finnish friends, and we like the concept of country as a service and the e-services that you provide, and we are doing something similar in Ghana, digitalizing many of our government services. And lastly, for the business people here, we have a clearly defined taxation system, but I do, with a caveat, say that when you come to Ghana, I do get a tax consultant immediately so that you can overcome some of those burdens. There are a number of opportunities. So there are a number of opportunities, and we capture these under the Ghana Cares Obatampa program. I'll keep this short. The Cares Obatampa program has ring-fenced certain priority sectors. I'll come on to them later. But beyond the priority sectors that are mentioned, we are also agnostic. We welcome all types of capital. We welcome greenfield investment, we welcome brownfield investment, and importantly, the portfolio investment that Finland has a competitive advantage in, and are already doing wonderful things, invested in companies in Ghana, and forestry, and in the banking sector. But there are two project categories. One is public-private partnerships. So for those Finnish companies that want larger ticket sizes, that want to partner with government in the railway infrastructure space, there are projects for you. These typically range between $50 million and $1 billion plus. These are transformational and they bring long-term yields. There are also smaller ticket sizes for private sector JV requirements for Finnish companies, and these typically range from anything from $10,000 to 100 million and above. And we require a blended finance to be able to meet some of these needs. So we're looking for multiple financing options. So any debt considerations that you bring to the table, any equity, mezzanine financing, as well as the patient BFI finance required will transform some of these opportunities. And we're doing so to really position Ghana as the greenfield investment destination in West Africa, because it has extensive benefits for jobs, livelihoods, sustainability, and skills transfer and other infrastructure and economic benefits. And as GIPC, even though this is our preference, we also recognize that greenfield investment is very difficult in a post-COVID environment. And so we welcome a lot of portfolio capital for some of these opportunities. And just a quick rundown on some of the opportunities. So in manufacturing, we have a number of opportunities in garments and textiles, and OEM and component manufacturing for the automotive industry, which is burgeoning in Ghana for chip assembly, and also for the 1D, 1F, which has its separate cascading benefits and incentives and structure, in addition to what GIPC offer. In agribusiness, there are opportunities in industrial crops, cereals, wheats, all kinds of processes from cocoa, etc., fruit and veg cultivation. Agri-tech, we're looking to use technology to really spur our agricultural renaissance. Shea butter is a major agric subsector for us. Rice production, storage and warehousing is incredibly important. Livestock, piggery, cattle ranching, husbandry, poultry, the forestry value chain, and blue and aqua culture. In healthcare, we are particularly interested in pharmaceuticals, manufacturing and medical device manufacturing, CAT labs, R&D facilities, cancer and other specialized centers. And we have, as a matter of fact, the world's largest medical drone facility, and we're looking for such innovations into the market. In the ICT space, we welcome BPO, business processing outsourcing companies. A number of them are nearshoring into the West African market. We're seeing an influx of those into Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Senegal, and we are positioning ourselves for that investment. We are looking for telecoms, infrastructure. We're looking for data centers, digital infrastructure, cybersecurity, cloud infrastructure, software, streaming services, and e-government infrastructure. We also have a focus on sustainable housing, sustainable and affordable housing. In the energy sector, we are committed to grid construction, upgrades, EPC, tank farms, etc. Upstream, downstream is also quite an exciting sector. We are hoping that renewables will become 10% of our energy mix by 2030, and we welcome Finnish partnership to realize that objective. Tourism presents a number of opportunities as well as infrastructure that I have spoken about. I will move on quickly. The government recognizes that in order to do this in a post-COVID environment, we need to reform some of our business practices and our regulatory practices. And so there are a number of ongoing regulatory reforms, and GIPC is leading that charge. And we are hoping to create an investment code for Ghana to become even more competitive in this post-COVID environment. Of course, the AFCFTA as a commercial capital, and Accra as the AFCA commercial capital, has really spurred that reform agenda so that we can attract and retain capital into Ghana and then use Ghana as a springboard into the rest of the continent. GIPC, as the agency responsible for this mandate, wants to help business do the following things. So we will help give you investment advisory services when you do come. It's very important. We will register your projects. We will process your quotas and your exemptions applications. We will ensure that we provide basic due diligence, and emphasis on basic due diligence on joint venture with Ghanaians. We believe in localization as well. We will help you to renew your projects. But importantly, for those of you that want to negotiate or understand transfer pricing, we will also explain transfer pricing to you and ensure that you have robust technology transfer agreements in place. We will also negotiate bilateral investment treaties if we ever get there with Finland. And as the agency of state, we are responsible for leading the BIT negotiations. We'll also provide investors with aftercare services. So we'll ensure that your business is growing. If there are needs, you speak to GIPC, and we will use our summoning power and facilitation power to speak to colleagues across government to ensure that your business succeeds and overcomes hurdles. But every now and then, we'll also monitor your activities, not in a punitive way, but in a way that will help you grow. And it's good to see some of the Ghanaian diaspora here. We also have a diaspora investment desk that is really forging business ties with Ghanaians across the world. But all of this, in my view, is underpinned by the generous incentives and exemptions regime that we have for business. But in order for you to achieve, realize those investments, incentives for your investments, you must first do 3 quick things. You must first register with the Registrar General's Department, which is the sister agency, obtain a certificate and a tax identification number, fulfill a minimum equity requirement, and then you register with GIPC. I'll just quickly run through some of the exemptions for the business people here. There are import duty exemptions on capital goods. So some of the capital goods you import will be used as an equity, for your business. Portfolio investments are exempted from minimum capital requirements. Foreign spouses of Ghanaians are exempted, as well as export trading. There are some tax rebates for locational incentives. Accra is congested. Accra is responsible for 87% of historic foreign direct investment in Ghana, and that cannot be sustainable. So the government is encouraging businesses to look across the country, and the further up you go, the greater your tax rebates. And you can get as much as 50% off our corporation tax, which is 25%. Currently, there are also other levers available to business within the free zones enclave. So the whole Ghana is a free zone. We don't have a limited. We're creating special economic zones, but the entire country is essentially a free zone. And within that, you enjoy a 10-year tax holiday, subject to 30% of your products retained in the market and 70% for exports. There are also 1D, 1F incentives, which helps with capacity building, regulatory compliance, and also financing from the Exim Bank of Ghana. There are also accelerated depreciations, etc., immigrant quotas, and time-bound work permit. But essentially, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at Ghana today, and to conclude, I think the scorecard for Ghana as we stand here today is that Ghana's outlook is favorable and has immense prospects in the medium term. And we are pegged to grow, even in the current dispensation, at about 5% averagely between now and 2026. And I think that is a thumbs up for Ghana PLC. We are a resilient people, and we are a resilient economy because we are not held back by short-term impediments. And the dynamism in our market is there, and I hope that you come to Ghana to see it for yourself. We are optimistic and open about the future, not because of anything else, but because we believe that we must forge new relationships and ties with economies such as yours and create the linkages through the shared values, interest, and pragmatism. And thankfully, because of our geographical proximity and resource and market prospects, reforms agenda, sustainability and innovation, driving the change narrative in our country, our compliance with the rule of law that protects investment, guarantees against expropriation, and our enviable political stability, as well as youthful dynamism, Ghana is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, in my view, unquestionably, the desirable destination for all types of investment capital in Africa. And with that, I will wrap up and we continue the rest of the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amateng Afriye from GIPC. I hope we all visit him in GIPC offices in Accra to hear more details about the programs that government has put in place for business people and investors. Next, we have a special part of the program, which is a panel discussion, Ghana Opportunities Panel Discussion. And as the Africa Advisory Board member of the Finland Chamber of Commerce, I had the pleasure to invite our moderator of this panel to speak on this very topic, the African Free Trade Agreement, 3 years ago in Finland, in Helsinki here. And we decided to invite him back to lead the discussion on the African Free Trade Agreement, and particularly about its implementation in the last 3 years. I think we are all very eager to learn more about this mechanism. So I'd like to invite first our moderator, Professor Kofi Abochi, PhD. He's the managing partner of Axis Legal Firm in Accra. And joining him on the panel, we have Dr. Efwa Asabe Asari, CEO of Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and Mr. Lawrence Ajinsam, CEO, Ghana Export Import Bank. And again, Mr. Yao Amateng Afriye, Deputy CEO of GIPC. And lastly, Dr. Ebenezer Tego, Deputy CEO of Finance, Volta River Authority. Let's welcome all of our panelists, and I'll hand it over to you, Mr. Abochi. Sorry, and to give this panel, to give the panel talk, the panel keynote, and on doing business at the center of the world, the African Free Trade Agreement Advantage, we invite Honorable Herbert Krapa, the Deputy Minister of International Trade from the Ministry of Trade and Industry of Ghana.
Deputy Foreign Minister of Ghana and Leader of Delegation, Deputy Minister for Communications and Digitalization, Madam Under Secretary, Madam Ambassador, Chief Executive Officers, Trade Commissioner, the business community, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. We've come here to this world's fastest, safest, happiest, most stable, 8th largest European country, not only for a dose of breath of the world's cleanest air, especially in these times of chaos and financial turmoil, but also importantly, to affirm our confidence in the potential for shared prosperity for our both peoples. We've come all the way clearer in our minds that the benefits of a bilateral friendship will be replenished over again if both countries saw it as a never-ending work in progress. And our long-enjoyed decades of decent rapport and cooperation needs to work, especially now, to further deepen trade and investment volumes between us. Development cooperation in sub-Saharan Africa has always been on the agenda of the Finnish government, always broadening political and economic relations to open up investments for your businesses on the continent. Ghana, on the other hand, remains the best destination on that promising continent for establishing fully integrated and competitive businesses. Our inherent advantages of geography, vast natural resources, a stable democracy where the rule of law protects liberties and investments, an educated population, and what is without debate the most hospitable people on the planet, is now further boosted by our proudly playing host to the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Africa's free trade area, the largest since the formation of the WTO, provides our both countries with the best opportunity yet to build today commercial partnerships for centuries and beyond. It provides that long-needed, all-embracing bridge to serve as the base for domestic and foreign partnerships, to build industries that take advantage of Africa's abundant natural resources for value addition, integrated supply chains, job creation, innovation, knowledge and skills transfer, and therefore domestic capacity. Africa has a population of 1.3 billion people, mostly youthful, and a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion United States dollars, soon to be doubled. Today, 1 out of 6 people on Earth live in Africa. 1 in 4 people by 2050 will live there. Indeed, 65% of the world's arable land and 10% of the planet's internal renewable freshwater sources are in Africa. The AFCFTA promises the continent's deepest economic integration yet seen, and perhaps the best stimulus yet known for Africa's industrial transformation. Through manufacturing and increased investments, a boost in intra-African trade will not only increase exports significantly, it will build regional and global value chains, what is expected to lift millions out of extreme poverty. So far, 54 out of 55 African countries have signed the agreement, 46 have submitted their tariff and initial services offers, and 29 tariff offers from member states have been technically verified and certified for trading. 87.7% of the 5,391 tariff lines have been agreed upon under the rules of origin negotiations, with only a few now outstanding. Phase 2 negotiations on protocols on investment, competition policy, intellectual property rights, digital trade, and women and youth in trade are currently ongoing. The Secretariat of the AFCFTA has launched the AFCFTA Initiative on Guided Trade to simply translate all the progress on paper into action. Actual trading is starting between Cameroon, Egypt, Kenya, Mauritius, Rwanda, Tanzania, Tunisia, and Ghana. And in the coming weeks, the dreams of our forebears will be off the ground. And historic as the moment may be, it carries along only those member states ready for the moment. And that is harmonized trade policy, availability of competitive trade finance, and that's why you have the CEO of the Exim Bank here on the panel, institutional framework, productive capacity for SMEs, and infrastructure. Ghana, Africa's shining star, the land of opportunity, potential, and resources, has been bold in providing leadership to the continent for successful implementation. We were the first to sign the agreement, the first to trade under the agreement, and we are spearheading together with the Secretariat the Guided Trade Initiative. Indeed, having been at the forefront of Africa's integration agenda for such a long time, it was perhaps only befitting that we were chosen by our heads of state and government to be the commercial capital of the continent. We have just launched our National Action Plan and Policy Framework for boosting trade with Africa to provide strategic orientation and support for businesses based in Ghana. Our current program for industrialization is defined by export diversification and import substitution, with manufacturing by the private sector at the heart of it all. This aggressive plan for industrialization, as you have heard extensively, involves a revitalization program, a decentralized program to build factories in each of the 260 districts across Ghana, industrial parks and special economic zones, small and medium-scale enterprises, export development program to increase non-traditional export earnings from 2.9 to 25 billion United States dollars by 2029, and the CEO will speak extensively to that. A business regulatory reforms program to ease the cost of doing business in Ghana, and strategic anchor industries to attract investments into new growth pools for the Ghanaian economy in the areas of pharmaceuticals, integrated aluminium, iron and steel, automobile and vehicle assembly, textiles, garments and apparel manufacturing, industrial salt, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing of machines and machinery components, industrial starch, and oil palm industries, each of them selected carefully and strategically. We do all that with the environment in mind, knowing too well that industrialization cannot come at a cost to the environment, nor to tomorrow's generation. By 2030, all thanks to the AFCFTA, Africa can produce 5 million new vehicles every year, beyond the current 1 million. Demand for intra-African freight will increase by 28%. Africa would require additional 2 million freight trucks, over 100,000 rail wagons, 250 aircraft, and more than 100 vessels for sea freight. Rail services will increase by 23 times the current levels. Trade between North and West Africa will increase demand for aircraft by 13%. Under the leadership of our President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Ghana has also seen significant expansion in digital infrastructure and technology, with a lot more yet to be done. Education and healthcare have been revolutionized, and until COVID, as you have just heard, we were among the fastest growing economies in the world. We are determined to recover, and we have the leadership to do so, with a focus on engaging aggressively once more the productive sectors of an ever-promising Ghanaian economy. We must deepen the ties of trade and commerce between us and embrace the responsibility as ours. We must work together to determine how the story of our partnership ends, and we must continue to forge together with common principles and shared purpose. Opportunities exist for you to invest in our popular One District, One Factory program, our strategic anchor industries, and a host of them that you have just heard. We are the center of the world, and we are the host of the AFCFTA. We are a powerhouse and a strategic entry point to several markets, regional and global. Perhaps the time is right to consider establishing a Finland-Ghana Joint Business Council to provide a framework for trade and investment cooperation between these two great nations of great potential. We must never forget that the responsibility of recovering from a global financial crisis, whether we're in Helsinki or Accra, is for all of us present in this time. And while we applaud the diplomatic relations between our both countries and everything we have achieved together as a result, we must remember that the demands of the times, the circumstances of now, and thanks to innovation and technology, the opportunities of today differ significantly from those of 1977, when we first established those diplomatic relations. The AFCFTA advantage is the Ghana advantage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Deputy Ministers, or other distinguished protocol. In 2021, the AFCFTA was adopted, and since then, it is the dominant commercial narrative in Africa. Tulu was right, I was here in 2019 to speak on the AFCFTA, and I dare say that I think many of my audience, nobody said it, but I think many of them are looking at me and wondering, what is it that I was talking about? Because when you speak of Africa, few people think of trade. So today we are lucky and honored to have this distinguished panel. We've just heard from Mr. Martin Efriye, and we're going to continue the conversation. I've been given just 20 minutes. Initially, I was given 10. Now she's signaling I've been given 15.
30.
30. Brilliant. So I've been given 30 minutes. But we'll still try and hopefully make sure that we utilize the time so that you're on board. So we just zoom in very quickly into the conversation. I'll start off from where Mr. Martin, where you left off. So let me start the conversation with you by asking you the simple question. I think the Deputy Minister's speech has clarified what the AFCFTA is, so there's no need to go into the basics. But to ask you the question, you spoke very eloquently about Ghana's investment prospects. But what are the investment benefits under the AFCFTA? If there's a Finnish investor here and they're thinking about coming into Africa, their basic concern at this stage is what is the relationship between their investment and the AFCFTA? Can they still remain here and export things to Africa? What are the comparative benefits of rather coming to locate in Africa as opposed to being in Finland?
I think you have asked a very detailed question, and you want me to answer it. But I think for me, the obvious opportunity, and this is subject to a lot of the modalities on trade and investment being concluded. So several protocols are currently under negotiations, and we are hoping that the trade and investment components and those on intellectual property will be concluded in a way that makes sense to all the participating countries under the AFCFTA. And I believe ministers noted that that process is yet to be concluded. So let us give it some time. Once those modalities are in place, we will be able to look at the detail of it. But I think the obvious opportunity for any company, whether it's Finnish or any of our partners, to firstly invest in Ghana first, benefit from the raft of incentives and exemptions, the favorable environment that we have spoken about so extensively, is so that you can have that security in Ghana, have a near market of 31 million, an ECOWAS market, which we are quite dominant in, which is about 380 million people, right? and then use that opportunity to also springboard into other parts of the continent under the AFCFTA. And that presents enormous potential, particularly if you are a company that has products. Recently, I'll give you an example. We spoke to a German company, and they were looking for markets in Africa. And this whole concept of CFTA is brought up. So now they are quickly putting in measures, investment decisions to come to Ghana, to find partnerships in Ghana to be able to manufacture and then take their products into the AFCFTA. Because right now, products are allowed to be traded within the AFCFTA. So this is, for me, the obvious opportunity and low-hanging fruit for Finnish companies to come to Ghana first, invest, and then springboard into the vibrant trading bloc.
Mr. Ajinsam, I don't know if you want to further elaborate on that, particularly from the standpoint of the removal of tariffs. Because the AFCFTA appears to be based on tariffs, to what extent would the removal of tariffs be an incentive for companies to want to locate within the region, the AFCFTA region?
Thank you, Kofi. I think just as my colleague said, here you talk also about country of origin. In terms of AFCFTA, that's why he alluded to the fact that your question as to whether one can export from Finland to it calls for you being located in Africa and making sure that the 1.3 billion population that presents you, that mass market will be able to. On the question of tariff, I mean, AFCFTA presents common tariffs to the traders. Those barriers that usually were affecting trading in Africa in terms of custom and other tariffs, all those ones I think would present opportunity for those of our people that will be locating and trading in Africa.
Dr. Alfred, sorry. You have been a key player in the field of exports from the Ghana standpoint for some time. If you have businessmen here today, and we're trying to make this as practical as possible because these are people who are just interested in the concrete. If you have business people here today who are interested in exporting to Ghana or potentially exporting from Ghana, what advice by way of the incentives, and again, tap that into Mr. Martin Free's presentation earlier, which in my opinion is quite impressive in terms of the figures, the numbers, and the opportunities. How would you advise that players here should seriously begin talking to you for you to connect them either to import partners or to export partners?
Good morning once again. I hope this works. For you to be attracted to exporting from Ghana, and I want you to export from Ghana, set up your business in Ghana and export from Ghana so that you can get all the incentives that my previous speakers have spoken about. You would also have at your disposal a youthful and skilled populace. We have a lot of young people who are skilled in various areas of the country economic activities. And so you have these people at your disposal. That also counts for cheap labor. If you compare the labor fees to what you have in China, I think Ghana has a better, it's cheaper than China. Lots of people are now putting their businesses in Ghana because you can also take advantage of the center of the world where we are located to hop to other countries. It's very, very close to Europe, it's close to America. If you look at where we are located, we have the land, we have everything, rule of law, as you have said. But if you want to locate your business in Ghana, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority also links you to partners. People who are in Ghana, who have businesses, who are willing to also partner with you. They need partners to grow their businesses, to take their products and services outside of Ghana. So you have all of these people there who are waiting to be connected to the world. And we also have organizations like the Food and Drugs Authority, the Ghana Standards Authority, who are also harmonizing their standards with other African countries. So you are not only catering to Ghana, but catering to the rest of the African continent, 1.2 billion people, and you have all of these harmonizations going on. So it's not going to be difficult for you to now jump from maybe Ghana to Nigeria to go and talk to NAFTA, who is the the standardization organization over there, to see how you can also bring your goods there. It's going to be harmonized, and you can just go from one country to the other on the African continent. The organizations that have set up shop in Ghana, like the automobile industries, didn't do that for just the 30 million people.
Sorry to cut you because we don't have a lot of time, but I just want to ask you, does the GEPA, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, does it provide trade facilitation?
It does. We do provide trade facilitation, and we have offices in all the 16 regions virtually. And you have our Impact Hub, where we have offices ready to support you, even offices that you can use if you are coming in and you don't want to even rent an office anywhere. We have offices for you to use for free in order to facilitate whatever business you're coming to do in Ghana.
Thank you. Now I'm coming back to you again. Recently, the AFCFTA has come out with the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System called the PAPS. Now, it's been estimated that every year Africa loses $5 billion due to forex losses because of all these changes. You know, we have to use the dollar, and I'm sure in some cases the euro. What is your opinion or impressions about the PAPS, and how do you think concretely this will benefit, for example, a Finnish investor who wants to set up in Africa or in Ghana in this case, and to do business across the African continent?
Thank you, Kofi Awoche. It's quite an important vehicle being used. Currently, it is said that the continental free trade is about 16 to 18%, which we hope with ASCFTA would increase to 28. The bottleneck has been the fact that with this 16%, payment has not been very smooth. For those of us who are working in the commercial banks, you have trade between Ghana and Nigeria, trade between Ivory Coast, because of difference in currencies, CFA, dollar, CD, and Naira. So the PAPS coming into operation, which is being financed by Afrexim with the Central Bank of Ghana, I think it will then again help in turnaround time in terms of payments. There will be exchange losses as opposed to what was happening. Therefore, that if you were able to transact a business, for instance, in Nigeria or Ivory Coast, within a matter of the recipient or the buyer or the seller will be able to receive his money in real time. And I think this is for cut off some of the delays that have been happening in terms of and it also will give the trust, trade is about trust, to both the exporter and the importer in this particular business. And I think that's one of the key achievements that will propel the continental free trade businesses.
Mr. Martin, for you, the question of infrastructure. Again, your presentation is impressive. On the ground, what is the state of infrastructure? So from electricity to good roads connection to other supporting infrastructure, both hard and soft. And you mentioned digitalization, which is a major policy in Ghana today. How prepared are we as a country, how prepared is Ghana as a country to host investors by providing the requisite infrastructure environment to enable them to effectively get the maximum returns on investment that they need?
Infrastructure is, if you like, the foundation for many investments. But I'll take it to quickly. So, soft infrastructure. The PAPS has already been spoken about. In the past, if you wanted to transact as a company into Kenya from Ghana, you have to use corresponding banks, maybe Citi or Barclays in London. So you go north to come back south. What the PAPS is doing is that it is de-risking transactions for easier flows of capital so that you can do the things that my colleague has mentioned. So that is one of the soft infrastructure successes under AFCFTA. In the Ghana context, if you look at the ICT and communications space, we are laying more fiber, and we're ensuring more telecoms infrastructure to be built. We're ensuring that there are business processing outsourcing companies that are supporting industry and services. So if you look at MTN and some of the corporate giants that we have in Ghana, the reason why they succeed and do excellently in terms of returns and employ all the people is because there are support services and the soft infrastructure in place. So when it comes to that aspect, Ghana is doing quite well. When it comes to the cumbersome bureaucratic and government services, we have seen over the last 6 years the digitalization efforts led by His Excellency the Vice President. Everything in Ghana now is essentially digitized, from passports to driver licenses to registrar general certifications, permitting. For example, in GIPC, it is a statutory mandate that once you comply with all our registration processes, within 5 working days, you should have your certificate. It is a commitment that we don't take lightly. So these are some of the softer things that we're doing. The banks have recently been capitalized to really support business and infrastructure in that space. On the physical infrastructure side, I'll move on quickly. Again, referring back to some of the points I made in my presentation, we are building our railway capacity. So if you want to export, transfer goods within the Ghanaian market, you can do so once the railway is fully operational to a wider West African region. Our connectivity of aviation is being built up, and these are tangible things. You can go and see them for yourselves. I went to Tamale to see it, and it's fantastic. Our roads are vastly improved. I think over the last 5 years, people will agree that we are building a lot of these connectivities. And this is essential, this is foundational to any investor to succeed.
Right. From the presentation, I can tell you have a lot to say.
Yeah, that answers
because of time. But just quickly, again, before I leave you, the question of, so one Finnish investor comes to Ghana, speaks to the wrong people, end up in trouble. Decides to leave Ghana for good and blacklist Ghana. Go online and says a few things, and then somebody decides that somehow that country called Ghana is not worth visiting. From the GIPC standpoint, what assurances do you give to our potential Finnish investor friends, particularly from the standpoint of advisory? How do they enter? When people do come in, what are the initial steps and what facilitation do GIPC provide in this respect? Because this is a real thing. It's one of the issues.
I will try and capture it succinctly very quickly. If any investor wants to speak to me in detail about the processes, I'm happy to engage. But essentially, firstly, you must come to GIPC, right? You must be captured within the law. There are a number of unscrupulous actors anywhere in the world, right? There are a number of middlemen who will want to squeeze you for a quick buck. Come to GIPC, we'll provide you the basic advisory, investment advisory services. We'll give you the lay of the land in terms of who the key stakeholders are, who the key institutions are, how to navigate a complex environment. That is number one. We will also discuss your tax considerations with you. We will expose you to the customs regulatory processes and other important areas that matter to the success of business. I think fundamentally that is what our investor services does. But the caveat, though, is that GIPC cannot be all things to all men. We are not saying to you that we want to be an extension of your corporate strategy or your business development strategy. So in that sense, we are quite cautious in how we provide the advice, and we do so within the ambit of the law. If you want to procure services from legal consultants and tax advisors, there are a number of qualified agents and service providers in the country that can help you in terms of business success and continuation. But at least from a regulatory and bureaucratic standpoint, we help you to navigate the market. So in a nutshell, I think that's great.
Dr. Asari, the Honorable Minister just presented a beautiful but short speech and one of the things that I took note of is the Ghana Action Plan of the FCT. So if you're an investor who comes to set up in Ghana, fundamentally is interested in the African market, we have been told 1.3 billion people, a GDP rate of 3.3 trillion, which is supposed to grow. And they just mentioned our trading prospect is huge, because at the moment we have only tapped 16% of the market. Europe is 65%. So where does GEPA come in terms of helping this investor leverage on all these beautiful prospects in Africa using Ghana as a template, how can GEPA facilitate entities that get established in Ghana with an African market in view, using the platform of the Ministry of Trade, the Ghana Ministry of Trade and Industry?
Under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we have the office of the AFCFTA, the National Office Coordination Office of the AFCFTA. So we work very closely with this office. So if an investor comes into Ghana, primarily to do business and exports, we will coordinate this person's business efforts with the Office of the Coordination Unit of the Ministry of Trade. GEPA will also assist in all the other areas that they would want to get assistance from, in making sure that they meet the right partners, in working with GIPC. If they have to meet with other agencies, this is what we do. We facilitate your movements around the country. We pair you with your partners. We make sure that we kind of smoothen the ground for you to take off smoothly. Working with the Ministry of Trade and the after coordinating office.
Just to add to her point, as well as even to go back to what my colleague at GIPC on the infrastructure. I think warehousing is one of the key areas that is required for trade, and for which reason Exim Bank is supporting in terms of warehousing as an infrastructure. In terms of aviation, we're talking about trade facilitation, in terms of aviation or even on the sea. I think that also presents an opportunity for our colleagues in Finland, who yesterday were shown that they have a very robust appetite for smart harbor systems that can actually help Ghana to be able to become strong. Back to my colleague, CEO GEPA. GEPA does the certification of all exporters. So, for instance, if you are coming to Ghana, she will have to certify you to be able to export. Just to add to what she said, she also has a database of most of the African countries where there are market opportunities. Our relationship with Nigeria, what can be exported to different markets, and she works closely on all of us work closely with Standard Authority and Food and Drugs Board, and with that can afford you the opportunity of a bigger market, and then it helps you to be able to send your goods in there.
Let me come back to you again quickly. That's my last question. I think I have two quick questions and I'm going to wrap up. The question of livability. When investors are going into countries to invest, sometimes we don't talk about the fact that they like to go to countries where they can also live because they stay in those countries. So some of them will go with their families and their children will have to be put to schools, and they will have to essentially integrate in the spaces in which they're going to do long-term investments. How livable is Ghana? How livable is Accra? And Mr. Martin Free was recommended that they should leave Accra and go to the north further, up north, which by the way is greener than Accra, so that's beautiful. But how livable is Ghana? How, if someone is considering coming to Ghana, should he be worried about his children's education, about whether or not he's going to fit in the space in which he's going to do business perhaps for the next 10, 20, 30 years? How livable is Ghana?
We all live in Ghana. We are very happy people. So I know that everybody who comes to Ghana will be happy as well. But we have a lot of relocation organizations and companies springing up because people are coming to live in our countries. We have foreigners coming into our countries. These organizations have also sprung up, helping and supporting people to relocate comfortably into the country. So if you have to come and live in Kumasi or live in Tamale, it's not a big deal. They will support you in finding schools for your children. They will support you in settling in comfortably, and all the facilities that you need to make your stay comfortable in Ghana will be catered for. They will support you in doing that. A lot of these organizations have sprung up just because a lot of people are coming into the country, and they are coming and they are staying. And from what we hear, they are enjoying their stay.
And just to add, the guys in GMT, our time is standard time. We're not, your final words as we conclude. What is the promise of Ghana in light of the beautiful presentations we've had, particularly from the Deputy Minister or the Deputy Ministers and the Mr. Amwati? What is the hope of Ghana? Why Ghana? Because I'm sure many of them have heard this and they're probably thinking, should we go to Nigeria, for example, whose population apparently conservatively is 200 million plus, and West Africa 350 million, some would say 500 million, we are not sure. You know. But why Ghana? Why does Ghana really represent this gateway for which cause they should come to Ghana and no other country in West Africa? I'll start with Martin.
You know, this is my job, right? Let me just look. Ghana is truly fantastic. It is livable, first of all. You can be there with your family, raise a family there, peace. It is secure, it's safe. If you go to Osu right now on the high street, people are walking there freely at night and nobody's threatened. The property is secured. In terms of legal redress, we have a robust legal system. But for me, it's about the market opportunity and prospect. Before you would consider Nigeria because of its market size, but now because of the removal of some of these barriers, because of the AFCFTA, because of the free movement of people within the ECOWAS system, that is no longer a consideration. And so you said, home is where the heart is and home is where it's safe. And I will say that Ghana really does present that opportunity: safety, predictability, policy consistency, and market prospects. And I think that is a promise of Ghana. Of course, spurred by a youthful population. That dynamism is what will drive us to become optimistic. Because I think if we left it to the older generation, they have seen it all. So we need that injection of optimism. And I think Ghana's population really presents that into the future. So those are my concluding remarks. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. Lawrence.
I will touch on financial services. We are one of the robust financial services. We have good connectivity. Return on investment is quite good when you choose Ghana. In terms of language, we speak both English and then we are also both on the left and the right, east and west is French. So that alone, you have touched on the GMT. In terms of stability, the fact that even AFCFTA is in Ghana gives you the assurance that for them to select Ghana alone, because it tells you that at least we qualify A to C on all the boxes that require us to headquarters the continental free trade. And I treat everybody to come to Ghana. We say Ghana is a gateway to Africa, and welcome any day, anytime.
Dr. Sorry.
Come to the middle of the world. Everything is exceptional there. Even the taste of our food. If you tasted pineapple in Ghana, you would not eat it anywhere else in the world. Everything tastes different. Our cocoa, you need Ghana's cocoa to add to any other country's cocoa to make chocolate what it is. So from the middle of the world is the best. And I entreat you to come to the middle of the world, where you can also go to any other place in the world easily, access any other country very easily. Thank you.
Before I allow you to go, we're going to have a Q&A session. Maybe some of our audience members will like to put you in the hot seat again and ask you some questions. But before we get there, I would just like to give an update on the program. We are a little bit behind, but don't worry, the lunch room has been notified of our delay. So the lunch will be served after the last speaker is done here. And after also the Q&A session, we're gonna have B2B networking, and after the lunch, for the private sector, it's gonna be right here in this room. And for the public sector, it's going to be at the hotel across the street. And there'll be signs there and ushers to help you find those rooms, but it's in the Compass room. Then also, because the lunch is a little bit delayed, I just want to mention that there'll be a bus taking officials for a bilateral meeting of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority from 1 to 2:30 p.m. So the bus will leave at 12:30. So anybody attending that meeting will want to join that bus downstairs.
And here is your point of contact, so please contact me. Oh, you're here.
Good. Then there'll be a meeting with Finnfund, which is going to be attended by all the high-level delegates, and that will be from 3 to 4:30, and the bus to transport the high-level delegates will depart from this venue again at 2:30. And then later on this evening for our Ghanaian delegates, we'll have a dinner hosted at the Crown Plaza, leaving from the Scandic Grand Marina at 6 p.m. So the bus will leave here at 6 p.m. for the dinner. And tomorrow there'll be some exciting site visits for our Ghana delegates. They're going to visit Vaisala, as we did here in Vanta, my hometown. So welcome. And also Ikomo. That's it for the announcements, and now we'll move to the Q&A. So if anybody has any questions for our panelists, our speakers.
We take 3 at a time, if we have time. But we are number 1. I recognize number 2 and number 3. So yes, you please just recognize, identify yourself, and ask a question.
Yeah.
Can I,
yes.
Of course.
Hello, my name is Lincoln Kaiwa. I'm Ugandan, not Ghanaian. I wish I probably did one. But my question is, as you're aware, Finland was basically built on, Finland doesn't have, I say we because I'm a naturalized Finn. It wasn't built on natural resources. I'm talking about the economy. It wasn't built on oil, gold, etc. It was more to do with IP, intellectual property. My question, as a designer or as as a designer on behalf of my design company, what assurances or what is the scene of intellectual property in Ghana? Because we've talked about probably other sectors such as agricultural sector, etc. But when it comes to intellectual property, how mature is the Ghanaian scene, as in copyright, patents, design protection, etc. etc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I also want to know about the security aspect of investors coming to Ghana. We spoke about all these things. I never heard anything about security for them because they want to be secure. They want to know that nothing is going to happen to them in terms of security issues. And I also want you to have the opportunity to explain to us what the AFTS, as you're talking about, at least you can tell us the full meaning, and then how best it can also help investors when they come to Ghana. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So 3 questions, and I'll come back to the third one. I'll come back for the next set. So the first question, the state of natural resources in Ghana. Not the state. The state of intellectual property. The state of intellectual property in Ghana. I can throw it to my panel, but it was signaling that it's my question.
I think you should rather answer this question. Yes.
The moderator answers questions. Yeah. All right. Okay. So she's only saying that because I'm a lawyer, and I teach law as well. The intellectual properties are well protected in Ghana. There are laws for them, and those laws have been institutionalized in copyright offices that have now been desegregated from the Registrar General. So the Registrar General's department, which was in charge, as its name suggested, it was in charge of registering all kinds of things, companies to intellectual property to everything else. In the last couple of years, they've been trying to restructure the Registrar General's office. And the purpose for that is to make it more nimble, more efficient, and more productive. One of the key aspects of this is the Intellectual Property Office, the Copyright Office, which now protects patents, intellectual property, and other works of the mind, so to speak, other creative works. I have to say that in the context of Ghana, the protection is straightforward, so there's no problem. In the context of Africa, there has also been some changes that are happening. Now, I'm linking it to Africa for one reason, and that one reason is often big investors want protection, and I'm speaking as a lawyer. The intellectual property registration that we've been doing, often our clients want protection beyond the shores of Ghana because they are looking at a bigger market, and often they are operating in more than one African market, so they want protection in multiple jurisdictions. The only difficulty we've noticed with that is that the office for the Africa office, they call it DIRIPO. DIRIPO is set up in Zimbabwe. And that regime has not been exactly very easy in terms of coordination with the Ghanaian office. But one thing I can assure you of is the fact that the current Registrar General and indeed the office have been very devoted to protecting intellectual property, and they've been doing a lot of work in reforming that area. I'm talking about the Africa-wide protection, so that when registrations emanate from Ghana, they are facilitated and they are quickly processed. But I can assure you that that is deeply being worked on. And Ghana recognizes that. I think that's part of the reason why Mr. Martin mentioned that Ghana has been going through this phase of digitalization. There's a recognition of protecting people's intellectual, output. That's the only way that we can do well. The resource curve, the natural resources really haven't taken us far over all these years. So that's what I'll leave it for now. So the legal regime is there. And there are lawyers who are also trained in that field to provide you with the facilitation in terms of legal services, should you set up. So that's part of the coverage. The second question is security. I'm not sure which of you would want to take security.
Let me take it up. Here, security, probably I understand it to be in twofold. One has to be the financial security of repatriating your money back to your host country. And that, I can say, Ghana has a lot of experience in that. I did indicate that as per our laws, you are allowed to repatriate profit back home. That, I think, is even too liberal. That there's been some talks about it, but you are secured in that aspect. In terms of physical security, again, you are very much aware of our stable democracy. We are quite strong. Now, Ghana is more like UK. We have CCTVs all over the place in traffic, and armed robbery has come down quite low. So again, you are free to move around any day, anytime, and you'll be advised as GIPC has indicated on where to stay and where not to stay, and you feel at home. Hospitality is our second name, so welcome.
Yes, on the financial security as well, it's important to note that you must comply with GIPC if you want to expatriate some of your dividends to your whatever country. And if you have procured loans, foreign loans, to do business in Ghana, when it's time for you to service those the loans that you have procured, there are safeguards within the financial services architecture for you to do so easily. And so in terms of financial security, I just wanted to add that point to it as well.
Okay. So on the question of the AFCFTA as well, should I take it as a moderator? Well, just the ABCD. I think we are remiss in not going fundamentals. But part of the reason is because I think the speeches sort of touched on them. So I thought, but just in a nutshell, the AFCFTA, Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. That's what it stands for. Now, it's an agreement that basically seeks to establish a free zone in Africa for all 55 countries. The statistics, 1.2 billion people, population conservative, 3.3 trillion GDP, among other statistics. They're combining all these to create one big zone where countries can trade among themselves without the tariff barrier. So the main focus is on the tariff barrier, but then there's also a focus on removing other structural non-tariff barriers. So the purpose is to ensure trade competition among African countries, but in a manner that gives them preferential treatment among each other. What that means is that automatically there's a non-preferential treatment for all non-African countries. And the danger, therefore, with that, which is why investment is critical we recommend for Finnish companies, is that under the AFCFTA system, once you export outside the AFCFTA into the AFCFTA, you will have tariffs on your goods. but then the AFCFTA region countries will not have tariffs on the goods. So competitively speaking, you'll be disadvantaged. And so it makes more sense to then locate because of the rules of origin. Because once you operate from outside, you would have been going against the rules of origin and therefore you have to pay tariffs. And those who are within will not pay. So it makes more sense now to locate as opposed to export from outside the region. So in a very nutshell, I hope that clarifies it. Yes.
Okay, let's take just two more questions.
Two more.
And I would actually like to answer about the safety in
Oh,
Ghana.
you took
That
one,
question,
you took one.
I will take that.
Then you have to take three. That's not fair. So I saw two hands. Even three now. Why don't we take all together and we'll try our best to answer all that in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So 1,
Deal.
2, 3, yourself 4. Perfect. Well done. So you start today.
Yes, I would just like to say that as a Finnish person that's been living in Ghana for 11 years, the safety in Ghana is just, I mean, it's peaceful. I don't worry about walking down the street as a woman, as a foreigner. There's just a sense of safety and calmness. So definitely your mind can rest assured that it is a very calm and peaceful country, much like Finland, but a bit more vibrant. So you'll have to get used to some things. So please, next question.
Next. That's what I have question.
Yes.
Okay, you have a microphone after you.
Thank you. I'm Thomas Asariba, for the Managing Director for Electrofax Engineering. In the presentation, there was this statement of building infrastructure, roads and railways in Ghana. Yes, so I have an opportunity in that space. I have a quarry concession for top rocks of parts for processing, and it fits into the supply of ballast for the railway system, and then for the roads. There's a company, Amandi, who've sampled our rocks. It meets the specification. All the petrographic analysis gives positive indication. The mechanical strength of the rocks is fit for construction. And then for the roads, they are also taking boulders for 0.40 and 0.25 for road construction. But the challenge I have by asking that question is upscaling to be able to meet demand of the products that will be needed for infrastructure building. And that's why I'm here, to look for the cooperation.
Partners.
That's correct.
Excellent.
So what is the opportunity for me? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Next, please.
My question.
Identify yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm Dr. Ganson, physician and a businessman. When we compare paperwork, Finland to other countries, let me say to Europe, to Africa, paperwork is always, there are always a lot of bottlenecks and obstacles, especially registering of companies. Now, we have heard a lot of beautiful things and implementations. My question is, how is the government assisting businessmen from other countries, especially Finland, Ghana, to register their companies without backlings? We all know that if you submit your application in Ghana for something, backlinks. Yes, backlinks. You know, if you put your application in Finland, they can tell you within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you come, your papers are ready. Yeah, in Africa, or like particularly in Ghana, if you put in an application, you have to follow it up. Somebody is sitting down there and paying a lot of bureaucratic processes for you to give him something before kickbacks, before he will process it for you. So how is the government trying to streamline this area and to make it very easy for them to register their companies without paying bribes? Let me use the word. without paying bribes, because paperwork is a hectic thing in Ghana. The bribes are too much.
Okay.
So how is the government
All
going
right.
to handle this process?
We'll take it at the end, but it's a question I don't want to be handling for you to think negatively along with it. I'm sure. So I'll take your question shortly, but I'm okay. Let me take it. Sorry.
My name is Ulla Alanko, and I have been honorary consul of Ghana to Finland. And I went first time to Ghana, 95. So I feel the same what the lady was telling about the safety and other things to Ghana.
You confirm it?
Yes, yes. So Ghana is the best place in Africa. And I want to thank all panelists and others. It has been very good presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You take the gentleman, but okay, then before you take the Dr. Gansa, I sense your worry and anxiety, but I think it's a little bit of an old Ghana. It's a picture, it's not perfect yet. And I'm speaking as a lawyer again. We do this daily. We register companies for investors. So I see this every day. There's been a lot of improvement. These days, when you present your application, you see a lot of the problems often stem from the applicant. If your things are not complete, you do back and forth. But if you present your application and your things are complete, all documentation complete, everything says, I guarantee you, and I'm not speaking for the registrar general, she hasn't authority to do that, but I'm speaking from my own experience. On the average, 2 weeks, in 14 days, you have a certificate of incorporation. Formerly, there were 2 documents. We used to have certificate of incorporation, and then you waited for certificate to commence business. These days, the second one has been scrapped. Now you have only one certificate of incorporation. If your documents are ready, those payment of bribes, they don't exist. I mean, you pay at your own cost, so to speak. Once you present the documents, if they are ready, if they are complete, and I think it's the same thing for Finland and any other country. If you present incomplete documentation, you do back and forth. So I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying the system there is completely perfect. There are a few issues, but these days it is very fast. Once you present your documents and they're complete, you get a certificate of incorporation. So it's a bit of the old story. The old story is what you're saying. That one, I'm aware of that one too. But it's a bit of an old story. The current story is more predictable and more reliable, but it is not 100%, no doubt. But generally, yes. And that's why it's important also to. I'm not advertising for lawyers, but that's why it's important to use lawyers. Well, I'm not saying, but honestly, if you don't use lawyers, that's another story. Then, yes. So,
yeah, I think you're right. You said it all. I'll give you an example. Mr. Gansa, I think that's an old Ghana. Yes. Have you been to Ghana lately?
Not.
So there we go.
Comments. Yeah. Okay. You've been able to sneak in because you know where comments, no questions.
These are comments. So I didn't have time to explain what we have done there in Ghana, but we started everything during the COVID time. So very, very tough time to start anything international collaboration. We managed to get everything work perfectly, all the procedures in the airport, just super fantastic. I've been traveling a lot, worth a few times. And the way, for example, as an example, the way how they protect the citizens of the COVID was much stricter than we had in Finland. Much stricter. Then all the procedures, getting a person to hear people that are willing to unlock or people that you train, working with the foreign ministry and actually to help with the Danish embassy in Accra. Just happened, perfect. So I think that our experience as we has been really answered the organization. Very good experience. Yes, I can refer on the head of your Ghana standardization. After a good session with him, he said that, hey, have you been here many times? No, this is the first time we visited in South Africa. Then he said, well, Timo, you know, Ghana is Africa for dummies.
Which is true, actually. If you don't know Africa, try with Ghana first. And then we'll warm you up. Yeah.
Partnerships, I'm happy to engage.
Yeah, okay, so Mr. Martin has indicated for my friend in the quarry. Yes, Mr. Martin is happy to engage you after, you know, on the sidelines to more concrete things, because I think it's important sometimes for concrete, you know, conversations to be had. Are we done or there are more? No, we're done. A comment too. All right, okay, no, I'll give you 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Yeah, I was.
15 seconds.
Yeah, my name is Perpetual Prince, and I'm with the University of Helsinki. I wanted to give just a kind of assurance to Dr. Ganta that with the digitalization that is ongoing in Ghana, some of these things about how he put it, bribery, I mean, are being solved. So he should be rest assured. I've known him we've lived here for so many years, but I assure him that he should feel confident to go back to Ghana.
Well, thank you very much. And we are not here to deceive you. Ghana is not a paradise, nor is Ghana a perfect country. There are some problems. When you come and set up, everything will not be 100% good for you. But one thing you can be assured of is that businesses that come to Ghana and who are able to weather the storm and eventually settle, they normally make profits 4 more times than they would have made anywhere else in the world. It is the reason why, if you do a calculation of businesses that have been growing, the fastest growing businesses in terms of exponential growth are often in Ghana or generally in Africa, because we have markets that are usually untapped. And so your prospect of doing well in the medium to long term is massive. And the initial petty stuff that you encounter, as you will in any other country, I guarantee you, it's not often the reason to pack out. So if you speak to, and I'm glad he is a practicing and living example. If you speak to those who have settled and eventually settled properly, they'll tell you that there's no place like Ghana. So don't be worried too much. And sometimes we all Google, you know, you go online and then you read a few comments. As I said, that is the reason why you should use lawyers. You know, it's not an advert for lawyers.
And it takes a few years, you know.
It does. It does.
It takes a while.
It does.
It's not overnight, but you come, you learn,
Yeah.
and you experience the culture and the business environment, and you'll do well.
So on that note, I say Kitos.
Thank you so much to our panelists. We've come to the end of the panel, so you can be excused back to your seats. We just have one more presentation to go before the end of the morning's program and our lunch break. So please, let's welcome the program director for Finnpartnership, Ms. Birgit Nevala. Honorable Deputy Ministers, Excellencies, dear guests, especially friends from Ghana, thank you for coming to Finland and making this fine day for all of us. And we are very grateful to Ambassador Jennifer for initiating this great event. I do realize that I'm standing between you and the lunch, so I will be very, very quick. I do have a presentation. So I represent Finnpartnership, and Finnpartnership is Finnish Foreign Ministry's program, which is run by Finnfund, which is a development investor. Okay. Okay. So Finnfund is making larger investments. We have here Finnfund also today. I would like to ask Markus Pentikäinen
stand up. If you have some larger investment plans, please see who is there, please Markus, and please talk to him. And Finnpartnership program is part of our official development aid. So we believe that in order to take the next step in development is that we need jobs and we need businesses. We need that sort of expertise who knows how to run businesses, how to create jobs, and how to make wealth. So Finnpartnership program has basically 3 services. One is very first step financing for long-term projects, for example, in Ghana. Small and middle-sized companies can get 70% as grant funding for very, very first steps. We have heard here today that you should use the local expertise and ask GIPC, for example, who to turn to. Exactly those kind of bills can be covered with this grant. So please make use of today, find contacts and get forward. We have then financing for you to make it happen after today. Then we have matchmaking, and this is for Ghanaian companies. So in case you do not succeed today to find a partner, you can stay in our database and we will market you to Finnish companies in our newsletters, websites, and in our application workshops, which are arranged monthly. And then you find a lot of advice and guidance on our webpage. If you are planning on planning to use the business partnership support, we strongly advise you to come to our application workshops. The next one is on 13th of October and the second one 17th of November. First Finnish and then English. Here you see our target countries. So it's vast amount of countries that this instrument can be covered with. But what do we see with Ghana? It is popular. Everything that you have heard here today, you see it happening in our financing instrument. Ghana is popular with these companies. And previous year, Ghana was number 4. And this year, we already have 4 projects. Those are in health and crafts and mining. So we take in all sectors. And what we have also heard today, if you are looking for financing, you need to submit complete documents also with Finnpartnership. So this should be familiar to all of us here in this room. But these are encouraging numbers. Make sure that you will not leave today without any information what you will do with Ghana or Ghanaian companies next week, for example. So I do remind all of you that there is this brochure. Behind the QR code, you will find all the Ghanaian companies that are here today. So the opportunity is here today. In this room, after lunch, we use 1 hour for lunch and we will be back here at 1 o'clock. So this will be transformed to the tables. Every Ghanaian company has its own table. Please, Finnish companies, make use of this day. Come and meet the Ghanaian companies in their tables. This is the way for you to find them. If there is a queue, just wait. Or maybe you can visit some other table meanwhile. This way you can create more concrete connections today. I will be here with my colleague Julian, and we are helping you also. We have table outside by the door if you have financing questions, or you can involve us also in your table discussions. If you go forward and you think that, okay, there might be something, why wouldn't we ask directly if there's opportunity for financing. So we are all here for you today. And practical things, the lunch is behind that wall, so you just go around the corner and you can go way back behind that wall. There are seats to have lunch, and also you can stay around in the hallways and enjoy your lunch. Do come back and make something concrete out of today.
Thank you so much, Birgit, and thank you for GIPC, who is the main organizer of this event. I've been asked that if you're on social media, please share their handles on your social media about this meeting, about Ghana. On YouTube, there are GIPC Ghana. On Facebook, Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Instagram at GIPC Ghana. Twitter at GIPC Ghana, and LinkedIn, Ghana Investment Promotion Center. And I've been told that we are actually live, so that's making me a bit nervous now. Okay, and finally, to all our partners for today, the Embassy of Ghana in Norway, Finnpartnership, Business Finland, the Finland Chamber of Commerce, and Finncham across the world, including Ghana, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Ministry of Trade and Industry. We thank you so much for attending today's event, and we remind you to please take advantage of the networking opportunities with both the private sector in this room and with the government sector across at the hotel across the street. Thank you so much, and please enjoy your lunch.
Have you ever been to the center of the world? Then imagine a place far from home where you are still seen as family. A peaceful country filled with affable people, decorated with stunning landscapes, world-class beaches and rainforest, also having rare wildlife in abundance. This is Ghana. Ghana is among the top tourist destinations in sub-Saharan Africa, gradually becoming the end-of-year convergence point for tourists around the world. The country mesmerizes visitors from all walks of life, with some of the world's most historic forts, delectable cuisine, and unique festivals from its diverse cultures. Indeed, there is no dull moment when you visit Ghana. The country's ecotourism offering has seen expansion in recent years as some of its main ecotourism sites, Mole National Park, Kakum National Park, Wabim Firma Monkey Sanctuary, continue to garner tourist attention. Ghana achieved significant progress in developing ecotourism tourists at some of its main nature reserves. After introducing the highly successful Year of Return campaign in 2018, Ghana cemented its place as a top travel and investment destination for Africans in the diaspora. Tourist locations all over the country are steadily being improved to meet international standards as government now mandates sites to acquire specific licenses and certification in order to operate.